Hi, hello, and welcome back, everybody, to Wolf Tales. Last time, Mirari and Furyu got into a bit of a fight, and we continue to learn more and more about, I guess, just exactly how things work in a half-human society. Alright, let us continue. Once Furyu has returned to the cabin, it takes no time at all for the two wolf girls to make up. With Mirari taking the lead, both girls are soon in tears, apologizing to one another and wishing to make amends. I watch on in relief, glad to see the dear friends on good terms once more. Maybe the fight wasn't as bad as it sounded, I think to myself. Either that, or this isn't the first time they've had that particular fight. Whatever the case, I'm glad to see the two are getting along again. "Fuckboy King," says Mirari. I look down as Mirari leaves Furyu's side and suddenly addresses me. "Yes, Mirari?" I ask. "I just wanted to thank you one more time," she says. "Thank me? For what?" I ask. "I didn't do anything at all. You two made it up all on your own," I say to her. Mirari shakes her head. "Not that, or perhaps I should say not just that," Mirari clarifies. "Fuckboy King, you've done so much for us, all without asking for a thing in return," she says. "That got me thinking. Maybe there's something we can do for you after all," says Mirari. "Oh, okay then," I say. "I thought cooking and cleaning already counted as a pretty nice thank you, but what do you have in mind?" I ask. Mirari and Furyu look at one another and then nod in agreement. "You'll see soon enough," says Furyu. "Grab a thick Coke. We'd hate for you to have to freeze to death on your way over." Dressed in a thick coat, I follow the girls outside and head down the path they previously attempted to take home. From the moment we leave the cabin, Mirari is smiling from ear to ear. Even Furyu can't completely contain her excitement. Wherever we're going, it must be somewhere pretty special, I think to myself. "How much farther?" I ask. "It isn't far now, Fuckboy King," says Mirari. "Just hang in there a little while longer." "Yeah, don't collapse on us now," says Furyu. "What kind of man are you?" she asks. "One who's already spent enough time outside today," I say. Says Furyu. "If you have the energy to retort, you should be fine." "Don't worry, it's really only a short walk from here," says Mirari. "Any second we'll be able to." "Ah, there it is," says Mirari. Mirari jumps up and down on the spot, pointing towards the mountain. I strain my eye to see what she's so excited about, but all I can see is a hole in the side of the mountain. "What is it?" I ask. "A cave?" "Not just any cave," says Furyu. "Yes," says Mirari. "It is what can be found inside of the cave that matters." "Inside of the cave, huh?" I ask. "You'd better not be leading me to a bear's den or something," I say. "Of course not," says Mirari. "Don't be silly, Fuckboy King." "Yeah," Furyu says. "Bears are all hibernating this time of the year anyways. So even if I wanted to get rid of you, luring you into a bear's den would be a poor way of doing it," says Furyu. "It worries me that you seem to have given this some thought," I say to her. Despite my apprehension, I follow the wolf girls to the mouth of the cave. After spending a short time walking through the cave, the temperature begins to rise to the point where I feel comfortable to take off my coat. Finally, as we near the cave's innermost point, I understand what the girls wanted to show me. Ahaha. Well then. Fwa! It feels so good, says Mirari. In the depths of this cave, we find of all things a natural hot spring. Doubting my own eyes, I stand in front of the hot spring, mouth agape, while the girls cast aside their clothing and jump in without hesitation. "A hot spring? Here?" I ask. "How does that work?" I ask. "Is this a dormant volcano or something?" "Who cares?" asks Furyu. "The water feels great." You can say that again," says Mirari. "Just come in and join us, Fuckboy King." No, I think I'll stay out here," I say. Why?" asks Mirari. "Well, I mean, the water's probably filled with bacteria, not to mention all sorts of sharp rocks on the base of it." "I think I'll be safer out here," I say to them. "Oh, come on, don't be like that. We brought you here to thank you, Fuckboy King," says Mirari. "We can't do that if you don't get in." "Oh, believe me, this is already thanks enough," I think to myself. I avert my gaze as I try to distract myself from the sublime figures of the two naked wolf girls in front of me. Seeing my reaction, Mirari pouts and swims closer. Hey, what do you think you're doing?" I ask. Isn't it obvious, says Mirari? If you won't get in it on your own, then I'll just have to pull you in. If you pull me in right now, my clothes are going to get soaked and I'll freeze to death on the way home, I say. Then take them off and jump in yourself, says Mirari. Furyu snickers as Mirari shows a surprisingly forceful side of her personality. It seems she doesn't like the idea of her kindness being refused. Fine, I'll get in. I'll join you, I say finally. But are you sure you're okay with this? I'm a guy, you know. So, asks Mirari. We're just bathing. Stop being such a prude, says Furyu. So I'm the weird one here for having shame, am I? Whatever. Don't say I didn't warn you, I say. Worn down by the girl's persistence, I take off my clothes. That's it. Bathe with us, says Mirari. Wow, what the? Says Furyu. Is that a man's? Mirari happily pulls me in by the arm. Furyu, on the other hand, immediately turns red in the face and begins to cover her eyes with her hands. If you're that embarrassed, look away, I say. I'm not embarrassed, says Furyu. I'm just, I always bathed with my mother while father kept watch, so I never, says Furyu. Furyu's voice becomes more faint as she averts her gaze. I forgot that Fuckboy King was a man, says Furyu. Am I really that unmanly, I think to myself? Enduring all kinds of shame and embarrassment, I submerge my lower half in the water. Wow, you girls weren't kidding. Right, says Mirari. I found this place the last time I ran away from the pack. Nice to hear that something good came of your mischief, I say. Something good always comes of my mischief, says Mirari. Mirari smiles coyly as she brings one hand to her face. Ever since she jumped into the hot spring, Mirari's been acting less and less reserved than usual. I guess a bit of mischief is okay now and then, considering how well behaved you usually are, I say. Though, speaking of mischief, I say, I turn around to look at Furyu. Asks Furyu. Rather than join Mirari and Furyu is sitting by herself. She continues to squirm around, rubbing her thighs together with a red face. It couldn't be. While the hot spring has loosened up Mirari, it seems that Furyu has become stiff from the moment I joined them. Ever since I stripped in front of her, Furyu has been keeping to herself. What do we have here? Mirari asks. What are you doing hiding away over here? Asks Mirari. Princess, what are you says Furyu. Seeing Furyu sitting all by herself, Mirari decides it's time to intervene. You have to clean yourself properly, Furyu. I know you usually just lick yourself clean, but it would be a shame to let this opportunity go to waste, says Mirari. No, princess, don't, says Furyu. Your breasts have grown again, haven't they, Furyu? Says Mirari. And your skin is so smooth, I'm surprised it's still so gorgeous considering how rarely you bathe. Princess, please stop this. What's gotten into you? Asks Furyu. Is this water messing with your brain? Don't be like that, says Mirari. I'm not the only one acting different, right? She asks. No, I can wash myself, princess. Please just... Mirari and Furyu continue to play in the water while I desperately try to hide my reaction. I don't think I'm going to be able to relax much during this bath either. Following an uneventful walk back to the cabin, the rest of our day proceeds without incident. Mirari, back to her old self, cooks dinner for the three of us, all while acting like the events of the hot spring never happened. Furyu, on the other hand, has been uncharacteristically quiet and submissive. She's kept to herself and hadn't quite talked, except when spoken to. Forget it. They'll be back to normal tomorrow, I think to myself. They've already gone to bed anyways. Rather than worry about the chaos they were creating earlier, I should simply enjoy the peace. I lay down in the bed and close my eyes. Being with the wolf girls all day has tired me out. Right now, all I want to do is... creak. Oh, for crying out loud, I think to myself. I regretfully open my eyes and peer towards the door of my bedroom. Watching the door carefully, I notice the subtle movements as the intruder attempts to open the door more quietly than they started to. A few minutes later, a familiar pair of eyes enter my line of sight, followed by two timid, curious eyes. Furyu, what are you doing? I ask. Is something wrong? I ask her. If you're hungry again, ask Mirari to make you something. Without saying a word, Furuyu draws closer. She tiptoes over to my bed, careful not to make too much noise. Once Furuyu has reached near my bed... Oh, fucking hell. She begins to undress. Furuyu, what are you doing? Are you still half asleep, I ask. Paying my words no mind, Furuyu removes the rest of her clothes. She then crawls towards me on her hands and knees, not stopping until she reaches my side. Fuckboy King, says Furuyu. An inch away from my face, Furuyu calls my name. Her cheeks are red and her eyes are watery, and I can tell at a glance that she isn't her usual self. Fuckboy King, please, says Furuyu. While facing me, Furuyu opens her legs. Now that she's almost naked and on her knees right in front of me, I can see every inch of her body. Despite her embarrassment, Furuyu makes no effort to hide her body from my eyes. It's your fault that I'm like this, says Furuyu. I've never once felt this way around Mirari or the other members of our pack, so take responsibility, says Furuyu. As I dared to think earlier, this wolf girl is in heat. Listen, Furuyu, I'm flattered that you think of me that way, but you really don't want to do this. What are you feeling right now? What you are feeling right now is just an influx of your hormones. If you go through with this, you're surely going to regret it. And, are you done? Asks Furuyu. Furuyu pushes her face right next to mine. With her lips an inch away from mine, she looks into my eyes longingly and continues to speak. I didn't expect you to feel the same way I do, says Furuyu. In fact, after all the things I've said and done to you, you probably despise me. Even so, I can't help the way I feel. Whether you love me or hate me, please, I beg of you, embrace me. Before I can respond, Furuyu closes the final distance between us. Her soft, pursed lips brush up against mine, kissing me so lightly that I can barely feel it. The moment she begins to pull back, Furuyu closes in once more, this time with confidence. Her lips against mine, forcibly taking me by surprise and stealing the air from my lungs. Furuyu then moves back slightly and lowers her head, bringing her lips back to my neck instead. She runs her tongue along my neck for a moment before doing the same thing with her nose, nuzzling me expectantly. Unable to resist my own urges, I agree to help Furuyu with her own. Kneeling behind her, I make my choice of whether to use my fingers or mouth. I focus on her pleasure, and the sounds of her heavy panting and moaning fill up the room. Furuyu's body falls limp on the mattress, and the only sound still reverberating throughout the room is her ragged breathing. Her face is red, and her hormones are likely still running amok. I've managed to satisfy Furuyu's urges, if only temporarily. Unbelievable, I think to myself. I thought that she might have been in heat, but I never expected Furuyu to come to me about it. Perhaps Furuyu has a better impression of me than I thought. Looking down at Furuyu's peaceful expression as she sleeps, I sigh one more time and resolve to help her out once again. While Furuyu sleeps, I wipe down her body and get her dressed and roll her onto her back. I should be thankful she fell asleep when she did. I'm not sure I would have been able to hold back if we'd gone on much longer. I then take my place beside her, close my eyes, and try one more time to go to sleep. Damn, who am I kidding? There's no way I'm going to be able to get to sleep after that. This is going to be a long, long night. Alright, everybody. I'm going to call it here for this episode. As always, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time for more Wolf Tales.